Well, let me take the time out to say a special good Friday morning to one and all, especially those of you listening and viewing to, of course, Classic Radio, those of you viewing GBN TV. Good morning. Welcome. It's another edition of To The Point. Today being Friday, the 15th day of August, 2025. Good morning once again. Those of you via social media platforms, welcome. I know you're just checking in. Good morning. I can see loads of you already started checking in already. Good morning. Welcome. Don't forget to share those live, all right? And those of you who've been missing it, don't forget it's now, especially for those of you via the Facebook page, is the GBN Live, all right? That's what you have to be on in order to view and listen to the program. So welcome once again. I'm your host, GTLB, you this morning here on To The Point. And we do have another edition of... Open line, yeah, for you. Another open line edition, I should say. Put it in that particular, makes it easier to bring it forward. So, of course, listeners and viewers, once again, you're welcome to calling. I haven't decided that any particular subject matter I wanted us to follow through on this morning. So I will leave it up to you to get the ball rolling. There's probably something you'd like to bring to the fore. Feel free to do so this morning. Something that there's a particular issue you'd like to talk about, or you just want to, of course, send some love and thanks to, of course, the folks all around, so we can do that this morning here on today's edition of To The Point. As mentioned, it's an open line edition. You have double the options of calling in, 435-2041, whether it's the WhatsApp or the direct line. They both will be available for your use this morning to be here on the program. All right, let's take our first caller. We lost that caller there. 435-2041. Is it me or something else? I think I got it right. Not sure why I lost that caller. Anyway, caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Great. Good morning, Mr. Telesford. How are you?
Doing good. How are you Friday morning going, sir?
You had a good week, man.
Yes.
The third one consecutively for the week, but we'll take advantage of the airwaves, of the electromagnetic spectrum owned by the people of Grenada. Thank you very much for the opportunity as we wind down, Mr. Telesford. I'd like to touch on two little issues here. The first one is this. We've been hearing a lot of talk, Mr. Telesford, it came through on the news that very soon in Grenada, the pie in the sky thing, we be getting No, hold on, don't get me wrong. Development coming for our country is good, and no one can shun it. Or should shun it. But I'm meticulously apprehensive when I hear certain things announced a year or two prior to an election. And I consider them pie in the sky because I know that most times they don't occur. And the purpose of these narratives really to bramble the people. But in this here country, as long as I am alive, we will not accept any more bluff and brambles. One of the things I heard, Mr. Telesford and brothers and sisters of this here country, is that we'll be getting a quote-unquote center of excellence very soon. And listen to how I understand the name. No. The name would be Damgoat Osama. But I'm warning you, Grenadians, be very careful. We're in a state where we're clamoring from the British Empire reparations for what they did to us during our history. We know it all too well. As a matter of fact, it was highlighted recently in our new status of emancipation. And we don't have to swear to king and queen again. Hallelujah. And we propose, according to the reparationists, to remove the English and British names from our streets, tunnels, whatnot. Hallelujah. I like to hear that. But instead of that, no, as a matter of fact, in addition to that, we're inviting from private people in the United part from Africa. Again, I have no problem with Africa, but I'd rather government to government dealings, and we'll get to that in a bit. And we propose to call it Damgoat, and Rama or Sama, whichever it is, and Boko Haram. Beware, Grenadians, pop up your ears. We don't want anything named after any foreigner in this country. Our entities and iconic buildings and parts of this country, demographic parts, can be named after our people. This is Grenada. We want Grenadian names. Let us kill that one early. We don't want no Osama and God, no Boko Haram. I'm talking about the relationship with Africa. I applaud that. Our ancestors came from Africa. Hallelujah. Although they insult the intelligence of our ancestors today with their nasty satanic jab. But we'll get over that soon, I reckon. Some intelligent person should correct that or take the lead in correcting that. But we had to pay attention to the country we're talking about, a country with 250 and more than millions of people with a salary, one of the richest countries in Africa, as it relates to natural resources. The minimum salary is $43. More than 100 million of them living in poverty. The most violent, the most corrupt country in the world. Get me straight. They have a right to live in the world and it's their country. They want to sue them. But is that the association we want at this point in time? And additionally, we're not dealing with the government of Nigeria, private business. And this takes me to the key thing that I want to touch upon this morning, Mr. Telesford. You ought to have heard it, Grenadians. Take a look at the Republic of South Africa a couple of years ago. State capture is a theoretic name given to it. When private businessmen at connection and wound up and so on, cozy up with your government, you are likely to sell your country out. Beware of it. Jacob Zuma fell into that with the Gupta family in South Africa's greatest level of scandal and corruption and bribery ever been in the whole of Africa for a long time. I'm only mentioning these things to you to be aware so that you can be aware. I am not saying that we shouldn't accept anything from anybody if they do it in a good heart. But remember, and I want you to remember one thing too. In 1977, a group of people came from Cuba to assist us to build an international airport and other things in this country. Not a grain of sand in this country named after any Cuban. Be aware of that too. We can go on this subject matter, but let us kill it early. Nothing in this here country shall be named after any private businessman from Africa, nor anything that they're related to. We shall kill it early. Finally, Mr. Telesford, you know, I am a person that like to do things meticulously. And I don't forget easily, especially when I feel cheated. I want to play something here to the Grenadian people just to remind them and the Ministry of Social Development of the following. Mr. Telesford. The fact is, in December of 2022, in the discussion of the budget for 2023, we were promised that $150 that the government of Grenada that did during the days of the COVID would continue for another year. In January, a couple of weeks after they removed it. That is deceit, Mr. Telesford. And I'm warning this DQ administration, born and bred in deceit, hypocrisy, injustice, corruption, and untrustworthiness, that we shall bear them in mind, and that this recording will be played up to the day prior to the new elections to teach them a lesson. End the hypocrisy, end your malpractice against the people. Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford, for what it's worth. Do have a nice day. Will you, sir?
Thank you, sir. Have a good day yourself. We do have another caller on the line. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome. Let's hear from you.
Morning, DT, and morning to your listeners and your viewers. I think we need to be quite sober in how we approach issues. We have a number of issues facing us, whether it's unpredictable behavior of the current regime in the United States, or the impending hurricane season, which seems to be kicking up now, And I think we need to prepare our people in a very organized or well-informed way. On the question of what is happening with the sanction or the imposition of or the refusal of visas for the people, the government officials, and their families and so on. We need to bear in mind, and I want us to put things in perspective. This thing is not just didn't start with the ministers and so on. It started with the U.S. folding up its operation in Grenada without saying officially. I mean, they have very ways. I mean, the word deceit was used earlier, but I think that's what the U.S. is doing and have done to us is a big form of deceit. But it's interesting that every time we have an opportunity to emancipate ourselves, some of us are crying, oh, you need to stay longer. After the invasion, when the Americans announced the first move, withdrawal from Grenada, I remember there were those people who were saying, no, you can't leave, we need you. I mean, so every time there's an opportunity for us to do something, we scream and shout, no, stay longer. The USAID was here, the masquerade, they left. In fact, you can't see anything worthy that they did for us, but a lot of talk about money was made at the time. In fact, in order to please the Americans, we had to revert to the oath report. Nobody made an issue about that at the time. I mean, we've been making an issue about the oath, but I mean about getting permission. Who gave permission to change the name? It seems as though who the person, depending on who is making the noise or who is paying the piper, who is paying the tune, get to prevail. So we have to also bear in mind that the privatization program that took place in Grenada, who was instrumental in, and if I remember, the late Sir Nicholas Baffert in that famous inquiry about the missing 2 million. I remember he saying that the then prosecutor, in a manner of speaking, should know that the reason why place like Glen and so on was told is because they were instructed by the Americans to do so. The banks and other places are being privatized. So we've been instructed, and even that same prosecutor told Lou Smith in the response to a question about whether the American approved a trip that some CARICOM leader was going to make to Libya at the time, that he got permission. So we need to start to see how many ways we are entangled. Even now, the foreign government has to account to the American Treasury Department for the citizen migration and the citizen investment program and so on. They have to fall in line with the Treasury Department. So we've been really being controlled by the U.S. to a great extent. And that's one of the reasons why Grenada, along with Barbados and others, has said nothing about the Sahel. The Sahel, I mean, the Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, I mean, they're totally silent. Even Ghana is moving towards normalizing relations, improving relations with the Sahel, with their ACS. We don't hear those kind of comments. So I'm saying that we need to really take things into perspective. We need to understand and help our people. And I called earlier this morning said that we need to have a national conversation, and it should just be intellectualized. We should see what are the implications. I mean, when I went to Africa in 1995 and I came back, people were asking me if I went to, and by the way, I went to the country of Togo. People were asking me if I went to the civilized part, which it means that we're really badly educated. To ask me if I went in the civilized part of Africa is to It's a monkey what the people who have enslaved us want to continue. So we need to deal with it. Now, in terms of the hurricane season now, I lament how much energy we put into the carnival. I have no problem, unlike others who have satanized carnival. I don't. I just think we need to have clearer and more decent and more appropriate rules for engagement as far as carnival is concerned. But if we could expand the energy that we do for carnival into preparing for eventuality, which we will. I know God will save us. Because if God is saving the people in other places, why should he save us? If there is a he God. So that we need to really begin to, and more throughout the world, the emphasis on community engagement, community participation, community development approach needs to be done. The whole issue of encouraging private sector-led initiative should not be further encouraged. Community engagement, community ownership, community partnership should be the main goal. And in that, there needs to be certain specific training for people. I was on a seminar just 2 days ago.
Cole, I'm going to ask you to take another 10 seconds and wrap, please.
I'm wrapping up now, yeah. And one of the things they were saying is that two things that came away from that we have to encourage people to engage in lifelong learning and also have the community involved in all aspects of health, public health, and disaster. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, GT. How are you?
Doing good. How are you this morning?
I'm all right. GT, before I start, I just want to say thank you to the people, the private people in health. Sometimes you visit the general hospital and you can get certain tests and things, and you could go to them and get it. Sometimes I don't get all, but they do a lot for us in this country, and I really want to say thanks. And these few days, again, a spin of the complaint and health. Not really much about medication now, but for the attitude of some of the nurses in the hospital. And it's so sad when you see you go to work and you could hear all this complaint, and the nurses especially. Yes, we know they're tired. But JT, when somebody comes to you, they expect you to treat them with love and care. For instance, I hear a lady say she brings somebody and she has to be knocking and she has to be going in and no, come on, we have to do better, people. Let us try and do better. But you know what I observe, GT? Too much of politics in the health sector. If my patient is not in power and pushing, I relax. And that should never happen. This is sometimes how I don't feel it, and I see how certain people, those street people, sometimes are scared if I sick and I go in the hospital, the treatment I will get, especially for those who think politics is the day of the game and not the love and care for people. So we have to stop that. We have to look at it. The last time was more no medicine, no this, but no, when you're hearing the complaint in the health sector is the attitude of some of the workers. And I don't know what happened, but let us remember people and let us have the attitude and do our best. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much for your contribution also. Folks, we drew for a break. Let's take that break. When we return, we certainly going to be, of course, entertaining more of your calls. Stay with us. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Stay with us.
Climate change is real. Storms are getting stronger and droughts are lasting longer. Are you prepared for what's ahead?
Hey Grenada, the Ministry of Finance is hitting the streets with Finance on the Go, a city pop-up event you won't want to miss on Friday, August 15th from 12 noon at the Esplanade Mall Courtyard. It's all about empowering you with the financial information that really matters. Come and learn about taxes, gaming, procurement, concessions, and so much more. Plus, enjoy cultural performances, live music, and a live DJ. It's education, entertainment, and empowerment, all in one exciting pop-up event. For more information, visit finance.gd or follow us at Finance Grenada. Let's make finances make sense together. See you on August 15th, 12 noon at the Esplanade Courtyard.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Republic Bank CPL, there'll be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On Thursday the 14th and Friday the 15th of August, transitions will be from 5:05 p.m. GBN TV News will be from 6 p.m. and repeated right after the CPL match. Transitions will be rebroadcast after the GBN News Repeat. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
Glenn Community Partnership Initiative.
We are here at T-Row Square. What we've seen here is a very large outpouring of the various bands playing the traditional mass. And this has been made possible through the kind assistance and contribution of Glen. So on behalf of Spice Mass, we just want to say a very hearty thank you to Glen for this significant contribution.
Glen, energizing our community.
Stumps ready? The biggest party in sports is back. It's Republic Bank CPL 2025. Bowls off August 14th to September 21st. 34 matches, 6 teams, 6 nations. Your Caribbean cricket frenzy. From big sixes to deadly yorkers, catch every boundary, every wicket, every moment. Live on GBN TV and Classic Radio. This is not just cricket. This is CPL 2025. Don't miss a ball.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back, of course, viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We have an open line edition for today. Actually, a third one we haven't for the week thus far. So your phone calls are welcome. It's an open line edition, as I mentioned. 435-2041. That's a number. You can do that via the WhatsApp, or you can call me directly. And, of course, you go live. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How is everything?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you this morning?
Today is my birthday today. In any case,
yeah, well, happy birthday to you. If I had that, if I had that kind of vocals, I'd probably sing, but I can't.
I give you a praise for everything. Got my time, you know.
All right, man.
You give me a span and nothing in any case after 3 school, you're going to it,
Yeah, man.
Think of float, you got to leave in any case,
All right.
Now, the world had empires in the past in any days gone by. Christ came on earth, and the empires crucified Christ. Christ was crucified by the European people. Christ was crucified by the European and go to come back. So if Trump claims that the world is his, and America is the world power, got the military and they are the big bombs, and then they'll destroy people who don't destroy and build who don't want to build. And if you're not with me, I will deal with you. And if you're with me, you can do anything you want and get away. But the world, God didn't make the world so. The world belongs to America. America opened for the world to come in to build them. America built by immigrants, not by them alone. America built by immigrants. All people from all over the world go and build America and make it great today. America had the allies to make them powerful. But we as black people who learn and who know, who just living until America is the world. As you go to America and the family in America, you must talk about America. If America do things wrong, you talk about them when they're wrong. They have been back on Cuba for 6 years. Imagine that. During COVID. Time pass and thing, people suffering, country suffering. America still in bag one in sanction Cuba still. North Korea, they fight a war against them in the days gone by, so they against North Korea, they silence South Korea. Vietnam, they lose the war in Vietnam. Vietnam was enemy for years. Obama would make friendship with Vietnam. They bombed Japan, over 1,000 people died. America used the bomb on Japan when they were about to lose the war. No, they use a big bomb again to mash up Iran nuclear plant. But little Israel, who's smaller than them in the Middle East, had the most weapons to destroy the whole earth. And we consider Israel as holy Israel. And Israel righteous, and Israel is true. Israel was inside the European people. Europeans are inside from 1940, they put them inside again after the war, they put them inside there. And when they made the whole Middle East, they want to control it. Because who supported them? America, England, France, Germany, all Europe support Israel. The world is so big, so we are back to the Caribbean, have to come together. We can't come together back by no reason. Like I give us some teaching by the past years, brainwash us for all the years, fool we, tampool we, play with the head, and who get brainwashed, still brainwashed, and who get wise talking against and plug against it. CARICOM there for all the years gone by. That CARICOM meeting for years and years and years and years. Nothing implement. Nothing implement. Now we're going to go to Africa now. We have to go back to Africa. Africa is our mother country. Because they brought us from there and trouble us all through the world as slave, build a empire for them. We build England, we build Germany, we build America, we build all about Australia, go in Australia and take over Australia, with them take over the country and they build it, All them things going on, we have to get wise. It's time that black people get wise and start fighting black people. Now, any black man make a contribution on this radio program, nobody has to condemn you. Everybody can see things the same way. Everybody read and understand things and learn things different in any case. So when a man call and give you interview or give a point in the air, nobody has to call to condemn you. Say what you have to say. Don't condemn nobody for what they say. You tell me I'm black and I say it's white. You can doubt me. But I see what I understand. It's things different, I wish we black people come together and stop fighting one another.
All right, man. Thank you.
Let's help one another. Because we come from slavery. All of us come from slavery. All black people come from slavery. Who go to university and study and come back and using the same study to brainwash and fool people. Stop doing that, black people. It's time to learn and help one another in the world. Better go forward,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller. Appreciate your call as always. 445-2041, 445-2041. And I'm reading a comment here from someone on the WhatsApp, and they're saying, sometimes I wonder if the God we served before is different from the God we serve today. Back then, the way we act and know would have brought fire upon Grenada. But today, it seemed like wrong has become right and is easily accepted. And to all those quick to criticize others' opinions, I ask, what are you doing to better our country? Can anyone in your community truly say, truly say you are that they are role models? Let me read that last part if you can. Anyone in your community truly say you are their role model? Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, Judy. Thank you for taking the call. Briefly, the last caller made a very, very, very valid point, and I don't think a lot of people are mindful of that. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the current U.S. president was the president of America. What actions were taken against the war and Caribbean people? No ventilators should be shipped. No emergency medicine and equipment should be shipped out. A contingent of Cuban medical specialists were being sent out to assist people. This same Secretary of State now, who is of Cuban descent, watched his people suffer during that time, but because of politics, he had no issue with it. And there goes the level of hypocrisy. The Cubans came to our rescue. Granted, it was under the former NMP administration. And I'm saying that to say, listen to all of the rumblings that are taking place now. It's like, you know what, we told you, and, we're happy. And that's the hypocritical stance and double standards on it. Let's move now to the female caller who called earlier. Caller, I want to tell you something. Not every time somebody says something on radio, you have to echo it because you think that is reflective of what's happening in the healthcare system. And I say that without any apology. Just like police officers and other professionals, nurses and doctors are humans and they give out a lot. Now, we as clients, the ones who are accessing the respective services, we have a responsibility to be courteous, to be respectful, and to follow the instructions of our healthcare providers. You may go to the health center or hospital and they ask you to wait. They may have done something until they will hold a while. You're not medically trained. Some of us rush to Google and think that we are nurses and doctors instantly. when you are in the healthcare facility and the nurse or doctor instructs you, you follow, you comply. I see they're telling people don't drink alcohol and take antibiotics, and I know of a young man who resided at Happy Hill who died because he felt, well, I finished taking my antibiotics, I could go and take a drink. There are people who are putting aside their medication to party and for carnival, and despite repeated warnings from the Ministry of Health, guess what happens? They ignore it, and when water more than flour, you go to the healthcare facility and expect a miracle. Price is the only person that performs miracles, not doctors, not nurses. So we have to also do some introspection, and the time, I would say, is now, although I think it is late because we should have been doing that long. But as individuals, we need to do some personal introspection and ask ourselves if what we are doing make any real sense at all. So you cannot go and want to disrespect a nurse or a doctor, rant and rave, behave in a disruptive and disorderly manner, and expect them to just gravitate to you and laugh and smile and do it because you are hurting their feelings. They are humans. They are making sacrifices. So yes, they are being paid, but they are making sacrifices as well. While some of you were jumping off a carnival, there were doctors who were in the hospital working 48 hours and more. And you all don't see that to really commend them. But to talk about, what somebody has said, and then you have not gotten the other side of the story from the medical fraternity, I think it is unfair. And I want to rest my case on that. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much, and I certainly do appreciate your contribution this morning. Definitely some food for thought there. 435-2041, 435-2041. The lines are open to you this morning, folks. Let's hear from you. Of course, if you do have a contribution to make towards today's program. We go back to the phone line. We do have a caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I have a question I want to throw out to Grenadians. I want Grenadians to call and itemize for me all the products that we think the United States need from us. What is it that they really want from us? Or what is it we have that they need so badly? That
do you have a list on your own, sir? Do you have a list on your own?
Yes. And I would like
so maybe you could share with us too. Share your list.
Well, they could use nutmegs.
Yes.
Not that they need it, they could get it somewhere else in larger quantities. That's one. But I want them to go to, I want Grenadians to call and let me hear them itemize what they think is so important that the United States need Grenada for. I can't think of anything. So the United States really, we are the ones that probably need the United States. They don't need us for anything else from us on. The tourists who come here, they come on their own, but they could go other places too. So I don't know why we're making such a big fuss about this story. Also, would you just leave this alone and let whatever happens happens? Believe me, because there's nothing much, as I said, that we can do to stop the United States from taking whatever action they want. And it is very simple. They could destroy our tourist industry in a heartbreath, because they could simply say something happened here and you shouldn't come to Grenada. And the Americans listen to what the Prime Minister or the government say, and that could destroy our tourist industry, as it is for any other country. But I would want them to call. Let me hear some Grenadians call and list the items that they think that the United States needs so badly from Grenada.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Certainly hope someone will respond to you. Thank you so much. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, good morning. You're welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yes, the last caller mentioned things that the United States needs from Grenada. Well, I've compiled a list, and the list is only one item, and what's on the list is jab. Thank you.
All right, thank you also. We do have another caller. Caller live, good morning, welcome. Caller, good morning, welcome.
Morning. Finally, someone spoke the truth, and someone that understands what the United States, what Grenada wants from the United States, or what America wants from Grenada. in a way, Grenada cannot exist without America. I think every Grenadian that's running them out and saying that we do not need Grenada, they need to study. They're dotish. They do not understand. America, which they call a mention. America could sink Grenada tourism immediately. This is a fact. Without Grenada tourism, we're in trouble. I happen also to believe that the Cubans are exploiting Grenadians. I think we Grenadians in the Caribbean should probably have better doctors and all of that kind of good stuff. But to sit there and say Grenada, they hate America because Grenada they have nothing for us, that's pure and simple nonsense. I suggest that people study and learn what America has to offer for Grenada. And without America, this is a fact, without America, Grenada will not be where it is today. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution. Also, 435-2041, 435-2041. We do have another caller. Let's go directly to the phone line. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, to the point. I'm just calling to express my concern. Over the carnival season, I saw the use of animals. All right, in the jab at the mask, and I think is not a good image. I know the authorities banned the use of the snakes some years ago, but then this year, I saw some other animals, chicken and a manitou, and I think that something needs to be done about that. So I just want to express that concern.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you also for your observation, and I certainly hope folks, it's not the first time we've seen it happen, and I certainly hope that folks may think differently when they play in the mass, as you would say, and don't, use the animals in an abusive way. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, GT, and how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you very much for asking, and good morning to all of your listeners, wherever they may be. A caller did ask, what does the U.S. need from Grenada? And I must, asking that question, they need our human resource, because they do have a lot of Grenadians in the U.S. that work and provide valuable human resource. They do need our solidarity, meaning that when they do attend they need our support. Or should I say support and solidarity when there's matters that they would need Grenada to support them on, in order so that it can pass the United Nations and other groupings that they may have. They also need the training that we give to a lot of U.S. citizens. Now, the U.S. doesn't have a lot of medical schools that everyone who wants to study medicine can study. So basically, they do need our training that they receive here at the St. George's University School of Medicine. Granted, the fact there are medical schools that you may say they may be able to go, but because we are a peaceful island with not as much crime as other places, that Grenada seems to be a great option that Americans can come to. And they do need Grenada so that they can actually travel and have a peaceful vacation. Now, and it's not about what America needs or what Grenada has to offer that America can, but it has to be approached in a matter of, we are all greater together than we are apart. And even America may be, as some may say, that how mighty they may be because of their military might, they still need us together with them and with many other nations around the world, so that we can be greater than we are apart. And as one people, we have to recognize that wherever we are, whatever we may be, we are still greater together than we are apart. Thank you, GT.
Thank you also, caller, and certainly appreciate the way that you put that together. And I, of course, brought a different, look to the entire process which it was brought across before. Let's take another caller in this segment, then we take a break after this caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
GD, I'll come back in any case. Now, the problem with America is the foreign policy with America. America have an ugly thing, America has some ugly foreign policies. We say White House, all inside White House there. White House, people who like peace and things, them like war, White House has to be the Satan and devil inside White House. Because things they're doing to people in the world. Suffering the world has to have no suffering, GT. They will have enough food, enough money to spend for everybody to get something to eat and drink and shelter over their head. But man policy, what how the world it is today, no?
Right.
One man have over $141 billion. We get the money from the billion he have. We get it from the people he get it from. They make himself rich. But the world is suffering still.
All right, man. Thank
India you. India want money, making weapons and things, destroy the earth, and the people in the country suffering.
Caller, thank you. We due for a break. Let's take that break, and we certainly will be back. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Hey, folks, you due for a break. Let's take that break. When we come back, we'll accept more of your calls. Stay with us. It's To The Point, Classic Radio. We will be right back after the short break. Stay with us.
Your thirst.
At Oasis Pet and Garden, we bring you the best products at the best prices nationwide. Layers and broiler chicks. All animal feeds and supplies available, including supplements, waterers and feeders, and lots more. For the farmers, we have you covered, literally. Greenhouse plastic, premium quality ground cover, hydroponic systems, pesticides and fungicides, rain guns, weed whackers, and more. Visit the Oasis Pet and Garden today. Conveniently located along the Wester Hall Main Road, Wester Hall, St. David's, and Melville Street, St. George's. Now serving you at 2 locations. Visit us today.
Need to check your bill balance? Use the Grenlec mobile app. Open the Grenlec mobile app and tap the icon labeled Balances at the bottom of the screen. View your bill details, including your current bill balance, the due date by which you must settle your bill, the amount and date of the last payment you made. It's quick, easy, and available 24/7. Convenience at your fingertips.
Hey Grenada, the Ministry of Finance is hitting the streets with Finance on the Go, a city pop-up event you won't want to miss on Friday, August 15th from 12 noon at the Esplanade Mall courtyard. It's all about empowering you with the financial information that really matters. Come and learn about taxes, gaming, procurement, concessions, and so much more. Plus, enjoy cultural performances, live music, and a live DJ. It's education, entertainment, and empowerment, all in one exciting pop-up event. For more information, visit finance.gd or follow us at Finance Grenada. Let's make finances make sense together. See you on August 15th, 12 noon at the Esplanade Courtyard.
Coming up, the best of Barbados and more at Carifesta 15. International interns enjoy breakthrough opportunities. History with a side of salsa. Yes, we're in San Juan. Community programs in Dominica receive a major boost. The home base with all you can ask for. It's all next on this station.
Fifteen minutes moving up before 10 o'clock here on Classic Radio GBN TV. It's To The Point. We're into the final segment of today's program, final 15 minutes, I would say, of today's program. And we do have an open line edition this morning. Before I start accepting more of the calls, I want to just read a statement here from someone via the WhatsApp. And they're saying, the discussion should not be if we could survive without the U.S. The real issue is whether the U.S. has the right to abuse us in order to abuse our countries. Does that make sense? That's the contribution there from someone. Let's go to the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller live. Good morning, welcome.
Mr. Telesford, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Nice weather today.
Yeah, I guess we experienced it on both sides. Not too bad in Grenada also.
Did you heard about the weather, about Irene and things? Did you guys follow in that? With
Yep. We are paying attention to that. We are paying attention to it.
Okay, that's very good because after Carnival there always be something, man.
So true about that. So true. So what's let's hear from you this morning?
Yeah. I just sitting here and listening to the callers GT, and I think we're just getting over our head with stuff, all right? Because you and I listen to the news, and I'm sure you listen to the same thing that everybody talking about, and you could say everybody's going way, way out. The news about restriction and government official, you know what I mean? And then people just taking it to a whole different level with tourism and what I have to do with the United States never said that they put in a ban on the citizens from traveling to Grenada. They never said nothing like that. So why are we carrying and getting over our head? You know what I mean? As we heard in the release that the administration said that they're in negotiation and they're going to come to some solution at a point. You understand? So I think we have to stop that. We Grenadians, we hear news and then you tell one and then everybody just saying everybody just go way out of track. Let us stick to the point, what they said, you know what I mean? And they never name anybody. So after the meeting with the officials, then we're going to know who they put the ban on. You know what I mean? I don't think they could really ban the Prime Minister because remember, in the United States, in New York City, is the UN. Government still have to attend to UN meeting. The only thing where they might have a problem, let's say, like if they have to come to certain groups up here or meet other things, you know, but as long as it's government business to deal with the UN, we're still going to have access to coming up here officials, all right? And we also have to look at that. We also have to look at that now that 3.5 years during the revolution, we didn't really deal with America, you understand? And if there is any restriction, it was just going to be about for 3.5 years after the administration left the United States. After 3.5 years, there will be an election, you understand? So, you know, I mean, the Democrats could be there and turn over everything again. So let us sit back and relax. And I want to add just one thing. Okay, I heard John Rollo talking about the $150. It's not going to happen. They already put $50 on it, make it $200. You could play that tape from Dykendon come, as my grandmother normally say. It's not going to happen. They already getting $200. I don't know what he's talking about, and it's time for us to move forward. GT, you have a blessed weekend and be safe.
You too, sir. Have a good day yourself. Thank you also. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, GT, I'm calling in response to the caller that called and asked what the United States needs from us. And although some callers have started to give some what they need. They need our teachers, they need our doctors and the nurses, that they keep poaching, that the private sector keep poaching. Of course, not the administration themselves that do that, but based on how the system set up, the private sector poach our people. And we were talking earlier today, people get $5,000, whether they would come here, whether they could get more abroad and that kind of thing like that. Because when you have capitalistic arrangement, of course, the people go towards the higher money. Except people, the Cuban people and so on, who inspired the fact that all of them could swarm America. The majority of them continue to stay at home, not because they've been locked up in a massive prison like in Gaza. The thing about it is that I agree with the caller that says that we need to ask the question, is it correct, is it right to bully another country or another people? We need to ask the question, and how does bullying take place? These are questions we need to ask, but we also need not to make the thing simplistic in the sense that, well, it's just this and just that. Any move against a country or a region, it must have implication. India understanding that now. And other countries don't understand it. The other thing about it is that we talk about corrupt countries. But the biggest corrupt country in the world is America. But because, of course, they sway influence and so on, I mean, so we need to be mindful that, when the issue of corruption is something they use against our people in various forms. Yes, of course, Nigeria, there's corruption even in the Caribbean and so on, but we need to ask ourselves the question, is it correct for us to have connection with the various African countries? And a few years ago, I asked a minister of the former NMP government what about what they were doing to have relationship with West Africa. And he said to me, well, these people don't like us, and we can't speak their language. So I said, but the Taiwanese, at the time we go in league with the Taiwanese. I said, but the Taiwanese, we don't speak Chinese. Yes, but they give us money. So money is what dictates the situation, even now, but to an extent. But it's good that we be looking further than money. And the fact that we need greater connection with Africa, notwithstanding, I am one of those who are not satisfied that we started on the money trail. We need to start with culture and people relationship, but it's still a good beginning.
All right.
Gary, the late Gary, had relation with Nigeria. General Gowon, the then leader at the time, when Grenada had problems with paying civil servant salary, he stepped forward and paid the salary at the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, caller, for your contribution. And I'm looking at another comment from someone on the WhatsApp, and they're saying this is the first time that the U.S. has restrained visa, so we can't really say that it will not affect visit to the U.S. So that's another comment there from someone. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, good morning, you're live.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. I'll be very brief. We can debate whether someone has the right to do this or not, what their motives, etc. And I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong. Whatever their motive, whether they can do it or not, the fact is, if something is being done, it can affect other people. And so, one of the main things in navigating the challenges of life is that we got to figure out a way to immune ourselves against whatever drama going on in the world or globally. And so instead of thinking of the next certain parts of the world as being the grass is greener on the other side, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Instead of focusing on that, we have to focus on watering our lawn, our own grass, self-development, showing love to one another. Don't take advantage on one another. Don't when something costs $5, not because somebody comes from away to charge them $15 for it. Don't exploit one another. Charity begins at home. So we can debate, we can get into philosophical discussion, we can become automatically conferred with a legal expert degree and try to predict what will happen and what will not happen. The bottom line is, what can we do for ourselves, and how do we maximize what the talents and so on that God has given us to survive? That's where the conversation should always end. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Another comment via WhatsApp. One is saying, for years the region watched Cuba being battered and bullied and sanctioned and restricted by the U.S. and hardly, of course, battered an eye. Because we felt immune, chickens are coming home to roost. We should have been our brothers' keepers. We do have another caller. Caller, your life. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning. I think it's a good time to raise some questions that may be uncomfortable, sometimes even unpopular. But the matter relating to the Americans' position on the Cuban medical personnel that assist us all over the world, right? There is the opposite scenario, whereas when we train our nurses and doctors, most of them either on government scholarships or SU scholarships, etc., meaning we spend on creating them, end up servicing the U.S. public more than us. And the fact that we need to have all this Cuban personnel here is because when we train people and when we pay to train people, they end up either in the upper islands where the salaries are in Europe, Britain in particular, or the U.S. Servicing those populations. No. Just like in Cubans, they repatriate funds, meaning we don't complain too much because they send back to take care of the families because they're doing well outside there. But maybe we need to relook at this. And I believe that we should not be spending all these monies on scholarships, etc., to have people educated just for export, which would help us with the situation that if the Americans succeed in getting us to restrict the supply of Cuban medical personnel, then we have to fend for ourselves and in some way not train people whose only intention would be to go outside and service the public outside. Just another, if you would indulge me, another matter which is very topical now relating to public health. Even if you have a Kent Farm hospital, which they have in many areas of the world, right? The service is a different issue. Meaning, I think that the only place in the world that you actually need a receptionist who knows what the job is. In fact, the most qualified person, and I've been to the casualty department last Friday and spent most of the morning there with an accident victim, right? No, although that accident victim was not as serious as other cases that I have been with, right? Actually, the most qualified person in the emergency department should be at the door waiting to evaluate the persons who come in, not just a receptionist to see who come in last and first. In other words, it is the person who should be making an immediate evaluation should probably be as qualified to the level of even a doctor or at least a senior nurse or some medical practitioner who can make a determination as whether we should bring this one in first because this one is having a heart attack or this one have a sore foot or whatever the case may be. And unless we do that, and that is not expensive, maybe you could ask a foreign agency to fund it. It's just to supply one person or three persons for 3 shifts to put at the door of the hospital that when we come in with whether it's a heart attack or so forth, somebody can make a determination that this person needs to be attended to first or this one could wait. And that would solve a lot of the problems. Almost all the calls you hear relating to our bad medical service is because of that issue. And unless that is addressed, and it is not now, let me say that has been the case since the 70s. So if that is done, it would take a lot of weight off the Ministry of Health or the government or whoever the hell takes blame for the bad service we get. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. And great suggestion there. And just to shift the whole conversation, someone is saying, the carnival was fantastic. However, I would like to ask your authorities, why are these jet bridges not used? And why is it that one baggage belt since the airport was renovated for millions of dollars, where did the money go? That individual just switch the conversation somewhere else. Let's just take over a final caller for the morning. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning. Welcome.
Again, I suggest that Grenadians get their facts and information right before they call the radio station. Grenadians do not train no professionals for America. Even if you are a doctor in Grenada, when you go to America, you must start all over. So Grenadians do not train nothing for America. Please get all your information right before you call on your radio station. Stop making yourself look stupid. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Have yourself a great day also. Hey, folks, that's why we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank everyone that called in and shared their information, shared their views, shared their concern, bring whatever bit of information to the fore this morning. I want to thank you a whole lot. Join me again next week. Once the Almighty permits, we will have another edition for you of To The Point. It's our final edition for this week. And we certainly did have at least 3 open line sessions this morning, and I certainly did appreciate it. For this week, not only this morning, but for this week, we had 3 sessions of, to the point. So, folks, until we have another one, which will not be next week, have a good day, folks, and best wishes. That's where I say goodbye for today.